Hey, it's me, Vicki Marie, and good morning from Spain, or good afternoon, or good evening, depending on where you are. So, in this video, I'm just going to give you a little update about Maria Henao Knezevic, and yeah, some new CCTV that's been released, or still photos from the CCTV of David Knezevic allegedly spraying out the CCTV cameras in the door cam, etc., in Anna's apartment, and also of him buying that paint, that spray paint that was used to do that, and some duct tape in a local hardware store. So first of all, I'm not sorry I'm on the avatar, but it's very early in the morning. I'm not quite ready. But you know, a subscriber sent me a video, and then I found another video when I was searching for information. I think, you know, we're keeping Anna Maria's name going, keep talking about her, because what we are, sorry, I've just lit the candle. So this candle this morning is specifically for Anna and the finding of her body. I mean, it's, you know, it's 99.9% certain there is a body that they're looking for. The Spanish Policía Nacional, the FBI are looking for Anna's body, making a targeted search probably. As you're watching this video, you know, I think this search will continue until they do find Anna. So for those of you who don't know, Anna disappeared from her apartment in Madrid. She was estranged from her husband, David, which originally, this is Anna, originally he came online, his lawyer came on, you know, various sort of news programs insisting that David had nothing to do with Anna's disappearance. It was an amicable divorce. There's a lot of money involved in this divorce. Of course, that is the root of it all. Anna wanted 50% of the business that they had together, and David only wanted to give her 25%. And then he had a big scramble around to, you know, sell off assets and release money, etc. So it's, you know, it seems likely that this crime was planned for quite a long time. And Anna had gone to Madrid in Spain. So Anna is Colombian, but she's got American nationality. She was living in Florida, but when she split up from David to sort of, and for a new life, she came to Spain and went to Madrid and was having a great time until one day she just disappeared. And it's looking more and more likely that David had something to do with that, and not only that, probably has unalived Anna. Now, it's important to remember, because I keep forgetting, but he hasn't actually been charged with murder yet. He's been charged with kidnapping. And I presume that's because until the body's found, they're probably saving that till the body's found. But then, you know, of course, they don't need a body to charge him with murder. So they're probably getting their information together, getting their evidence together. I mean, there definitely will be murder charges coming. It's just, you know, they don't need to charge him with murder yet. They don't need to rush into it. He's in prison. He's been refused bail. He's in prison for kidnapping, because then later on that same CCTV in the apartment block, because he had not covered over the CCTV properly with the black spray paint, because he's not exactly a criminal mastermind, this guy, although he thinks he is. He was seen, or allegedly it was him, coming out of the lift with what looked like a suitcase. And so it is likely that Anna, poor Anna, who was just a tiny little dot of a woman, was in that suitcase. So that is, I think, the premise that the police will be working on. And they are now searching. They're actually searching a very targeted area, which, because David, another gesture of brilliance, not. He had rented a hire car, and they'll have followed the GPS system from that car. And there'd be a reason why they're searching in the area that they're searching in. He'd probably stop there for a length of time, But anyway, that's what's happening. So let's just have a look at the videos. So the first one we're going to look at is from. Oh, sorry, I'm pressing the wrong button. Yeah, News Nation. So News Nation have been following this case for a long time. They're trying to say that that Chris Cuomo was trying to say he was first, but I think I was first. I mean, not that it matters, but I think they were the first they're sort of a hybrid of mainstream media, aren't they? News Nation, they're probably not full-blown mainstream media. Don't know, how you describe them, but obviously they're very, very popular. They've got 1.33 million followers. So, and I think it's Chris Cuomo. He's the one that's been concentrating most on this case. It's only just been picked up now by other YouTubers and things, because I think initially, probably because it happened in Spain, even though she's an American citizen, that's why it didn't get picked up initially, really. But now they're running with it. And, for Anna's friends and family, it's just, let's bring Anna home, isn't it? Find the body, find Anna's body, get this man prosecuted. I think his court case is coming up in August for the other things. So we'll see. There will be murder charges coming soon, whether they find the body or not, I would imagine. But I honestly am very convinced that they will find Anna. And hopefully, if she's still in that suitcase, if it was a suitcase or a bag that he brought her out in, is a good chance that her, the evidence will have been preserved much more than if she would have been laid out somewhere as a body, because not in a suitcase, because it does preserve evidence. So, as soon as they found that suitcase, I mean, where has he put her? He hasn't had that. He didn't have that much time, and we've been wanting to dispose of her as soon as possible. The area that they're searching is on the way from Madrid to Serbia, which is where David lived, and that's where he returned the hire car to. So he's definitely gone along that way, and there must be a reason why they're searching that particular area so concentratedly. I expect he made quite a long stop there, and so that's why they're searching. And they've got dogs, they've got FBI agents helping. They'll have state-of-the-art technology and everything. That the Spanish police are very efficient, very good. Okay, let's watch this.
For an update, News Nation has been following for months the case of missing Florida woman Henao Knezevic, vanished in February. This is new video showing both the FBI and Spanish authorities searching for her remains. Anna had recently moved from Fort Lauderdale to Madrid after a 13-year marriage fell apart. Police believe her estranged husband, David Knezevic, is responsible for her murder.
Oh, yeah, this isn't Chris Coe. I'm not sure who this reporter is, but he seems to have started pronouncing it Knezevic. Maybe that's the correct pronunciation. I thought I've been calling him David Knezevic the Knob, but maybe that is the correct pronunciation of his name. Not that I care about the pronunciation of his name, to be honest.
FBI agents arrested him at the Miami International Airport in May. This afternoon, he is expected to be formally charged in connection to her disappearance. I want to bring in Andrew Stoltman, a trial attorney and Northwestern law professor, for some context. Andrew, I said for her murder, we don't know that she's been murdered. I want to correct that. But we do know that she's been missing. And we do believe that authorities believe David is responsible for her disappearance. With one count of kidnapping being one of the charges in connection to her disappearance. They continue to search for her remains. Do you believe the charges will be upgraded if they do find her?
Yeah, I think right now the police are still gathering information with respect to her disappearance. There's no question that they believe she has been murdered. Right now, they can keep him on the kidnapping charges, but I would expect murder charges to be filed against him in the relative short future.
Yeah, it's reminiscent, isn't it, of Stephen Stearns? They arrested him on the charges of having the horrible images on his telephone. And it was quite a while before they actually charged him with murder. You know, the thing is, when they've already got enough to keep somebody in prison and there's no chance of them getting bond, etc., they can take their time and do it properly. They're not in a rush, not trying to get someone off the streets. They're off the streets. David will never see the streets again, I don't believe. I don't think there'll be any way out of this for him. And there is Anna, bless her. And of course, remember, I went to Madrid, and I still haven't got around to I want to put all my sort of stuff together and do a proper sort of documentary about Anna. I think I'm sort of half waiting for her to be found, you know, because that's the completion of the story, if you like. I mean, it's the start of the trial, etc. It will be. And of course, it's not the end for Anna's family, what they're going to have to go through. But what I'm saying is it's sort of complete. So she's been disappeared since the 2nd of February. You know, so that's a long time, bless her, that her family have had to worry where she is. Don't forget David, he tried to make it look as if, you know, she'd gone off with some random man that she'd met on the street by sending false messages to her friends and family, you know. Anyway, I've made quite a lot of videos about Anna, and you'll see in the playlist about Anna Knezevic, or Anna Maria Henao, as her family like her to be called now, because of course they want to dissociate from the surname Knezevic. You know, I've done quite a lot of videos about her, and you know, this is just the thought that he would drive all the way from Serbia to Spain and think, you know, that he could get away with that. You know, my personal opinion, as I've said before, just thought the Spanish authorities would be rubbish and wouldn't be as clever as him, and he just doesn't know Spain because the police are really good.
And because I'm glad you corrected me on that, because one of the things I misspoke and I said a murder, but right now is classified as a missing persons case. Why do you believe they went with that kidnapping charge? Because people have been convicted in murder cases without a body being found.
Yeah, absolutely. But not having a body found makes it a lot more difficult to get these charges to stick. But there sure is some really damning evidence against him. There's a video of somebody who looks very similar to him going to his ex-wife's apartment, spray painting the security camera, and then.
So look at this. This is David in the hardware store buying the spray paint, buying some duct tape. It's chilling, isn't it? So there you can see quite clearly that, well, I say you can see clearly. I mean, it could be somebody else, but come on, it's like obviously isn't. But, you know, you've got to, allegedly, this is David Knezevic, the Knob, buying that's how stupid he is. I mean, he could have taken some with him, couldn't he? I mean, what did he not think he'd be caught on? Didn't he think they have CCTV cameras in Spain or whatever? I mean, what is his rationale? How did he really must think he's above everything, you know, to take those risks. You know, or think the police weren't clever enough to find him. He probably went in the shop next door or something. He's that stupid.
Leaving the apartment an hour later with a very large piece of luggage. Now,
oh, there you go. That's the eyes, isn't it? So you can't tell definitively that is David, of course. You know, you would, but it won't be just that. It'll be all the information put together. All the evidence put together will, you know, the fact of him being in the hardware store buying the paint. Now suddenly there's a guy who's got his eyes spraying out the spraying out the CCTV footage, it's likely then, isn't it, that it is David? I don't think they've shown, or they've not released yet the actual photo or the seat of him leaving the lift with a large suitcase of some kind.
Now, it's shortly after that, basically immediately after that, that she disappears. So, it never ceases to amaze me how many times the spouse does the murder and thinks they can get away with it, but there's some pretty damning evidence. So I would expect those charges to be upgraded to murder charges relatively soon.
I'm totally with you. I'm like, are they not watching the same shows I am? They always look at the spouse. Why do people do this? Police allege that David was seen on that surveillance video, like you said, in Spain, for spray paint, but they also say they believe he was the person captured on that video actually taking something large out. Again, they would need to actually have evidence of all of this to actually file a more formal charge, correct?
Absolutely. No, you can charge somebody even with just circumstantial evidence, but they sure would prefer to have the body because that tells you so much about the story of what transpired. And as you well know, of course, they're going through a very nasty divorce with millions of dollars at stake. So if you want to talk about somebody who has the motive to kill their spouse, it's this gentleman. Now, obviously, we don't know if he did it, but this is just the thought process of the investigators, both here in the United States and in Spain.
Andrew, that grand jury did indict him on the kidnapping charge. Do you think that grand jury's decisions bodes well for prosecutors, or do you still think this case will be a challenge to prosecute because, once again, like you said, because of that lack of a body?
Yeah, I guess I don't want to say I give him credit, but at least he did cover up his trail, if indeed he's the murderer, better than most people did. He rented a car, he tinted the windows, he spray painted the security camera. But certainly the kidnapping charges, I think, are the precursor to what will eventually be murder charges.
Oh, sorry, I don't agree with that at all. I don't think he covered his traces well at all. They're just obvious things. What, tinted the windows of a hire car? No, that's alarm bells straight away. He did not cover his traces very well at all. He just went off and he thought he'd planned the perfect crime, and it was just ridiculous, I think. It was just, maybe it took a little while for it all because the police had to gather their evidence, but it was there. He left a trail of breadcrumbs behind him. There was nothing that he did that could not be traced. And then, of course, some woman that he'd met on a dating app, he gave her his real name and asked her to translate the messages, the mysterious messages that Anna's friends and family received. And the woman's mum Googled his name and it came up that his wife was missing. So I'm sorry, whoever this guy is. I don't agree at all. I don't agree that he covered his traces well. He was rubbish.
Andrew, one last quick question for you there. How does the international aspect of all of this impact the case?
Makes things 10 times more complicated because while the FBI is in Spain looking for the body, they have to get permission from the FBI equivalent in Spain to do that. It's harder to gather evidence. It's harder to...
Do you know, sorry, this guy's talking a load of baloney. So he's talking as if the FBI have gone on their own, to Spain. There's only the FBI searching for the body. The FBI don't need permission from the Spanish police. They're collaborating. Just silly what he's saying. There's a collaboration between the FBI and the Spanish police, and another thing the Spanish police are good at is collaborating. They're happy to collaborate with other, with other nationalities, with other agencies. The result of him being arrested was a collaboration between the Policía Nacional, which is like the FBI equivalent in Spain, the FBI, the Colombian police, and the Serbian police. Why is he just trying to make it look as if it's only the FBI that's out there searching? Just, sorry, it's just a bit of a bugbear of mine, that, because, it's like thinking as if only the FBI can do it. The FBI are helping out. Yeah, they're all collaborating.
gather documents, it really does complicate things. Arguably, that's part of the reason why he allegedly, likely, possibly did the murder in Spain instead of here in the United States.
I'm thinking, if nothing else, chain of custody with.
Oh, for God's sake, they did the murder in Spain because she was in Spain, you prat. How could he kill her in the United States if she was living in Spain? What a fool. Sorry, I don't like this man.
Evidence. I can see a defense attorney just tearing into that immediately. Andrew Stoltman, trial attorney and Northwestern law professor. Thank you so much, sir.
Thank you for watching.
Yeah, it'd be a typical, it's just xenophobia, which actually the video we're going to watch now of Cuomo, he does mention, you know, despite Americans, some Americans thinking that, you know, only American police, you know, this happens all over. In Britain, it's the same thing, only the British police are any good, or only it's Spanish police are probably are just as efficient, if not more efficient, than most other police forces.
There's new video that's emerged of Spanish authorities and the FBI continuing their search for Anna's body and piecing together exactly what David could have done to her. But I have the coffin daffer here to talk about the next two steps that need to happen in this investigation. One, she's going to discuss with us right now. The second one, she doesn't know, but it's reporting that I have that nobody else has about what the motive may be in this case. Retired FBI agent.
Well, I think it's obvious what the motive is, Chris. But yeah, so Jennifer, this is Jennifer Coffin Daffer. I follow her on Twitter. She, of course, used to work for the FBI. So she gets involved in a lot of cases as a sort of a reporter on it. She's got, you know, a YouTube channel, etc. Yeah, but she's ex-FBI, of course.
News Nation law and justice contributor Jennifer Coffin Daffer. Good to see you, Coffin Daffer. So something I didn't know, they have the ability, Jen, to look at a vehicle and get data that allows them to understand where it went so they can search all those locations for Anna?
Oh, I can't believe that he didn't know that. Even I know that.
Absolutely. This is going to be great information. You know, they have GPS on them, obviously, because often vehicles are stolen. So this is technology that is in most rental cars so that they can track the rental cars. And this is going to be great when they get it up.
Yeah, he would have been better off just to buy a car. To buy a car. Why? I suppose he didn't want to register it in his name. I don't know. Even, but fancy taking a car, a rental car. The rental cars, of course, they're tracked because, yeah, anybody could take, you know, hire a car and then take it off somewhere else, especially in Europe because of the open borders or whatever. You could take it anywhere. So why did he take a rental car? Obviously, that would seem strange when he took it back with tinted windows as well and false number plates, new number plates. You know, I think it's just ridiculous what he's done. He would have been much better off just to buy some car. I don't know how he's tried to sort of do it, how he ever thought that there would not be a record. You know, when he rented a car, it just seems ludicrous to me, to be honest. So, no, I don't think he covered his tracks well at all.
Obviously, they have to get a warrant for that. They're working on that. I still believe the reason they've pinpointed this area where they're searching and where they've sent 7 FBI agents to come help is gleaned from probably his cell phone, where it stopped in that vicinity. And that's why they're looking there.
My understanding is, and please correct it if wrong, that the data they can get, I don't understand why it would be different or better, but they say that the data they can get from the car is better than from the cell phone. How? Aren't they both using cell pings?
Yes, but I think it would.
Well, you can't turn the phone off for a start. So you could turn the phone off, I suppose, as you were traveling. I don't know if he did or not, because we don't know actually what information they're acting on. You can't turn the car information off, especially if it's a hire car and it's controlled by the car hire company. You know, you can't turn it off, whereas you can turn your phone off, I suppose.
will be better. And because they have a better tracking system specifically for that car, I think they're going to know exactly where it pulled over. I agree with you that the cell phone should also have good information, but I'm not that familiar with Madrid tower systems. But I guarantee you those.
Tell you now, Jennifer, if you're not that familiar with Madrid tower systems, but there'd be loads and loads. And the thing is, in Spain, mobile phones are more popular than landlines. So mobile phone is, massively important. And when I first came to Spain, well, of course, the area that I live in, which is not Madrid, I mean, Madrid is the capital, so there'll be loads of phone towers. When I first came here, it was very difficult signals in sort of more remote places. Now, let's not forget that this is not Madrid now where they're searching. This is 2.5 hours away from Madrid, more or less. Soraya, I think it's called. So it won't be like Madrid. But you can see there's a very busy road running along the side of it. And this will be, what he's done is he's come off the motorway. I wonder if on the way there, he scoped out where he was going to leave the body. I can't imagine that he just drove along and thought, oh, as soon as I come to an appropriate stop, I'll stop. Because he's supposed to be some sort of criminal mastermind. You would presume that he would already have scoped out where he was going to leave the body. Because he wouldn't want to have taken it over the border. He'll have wanted to get it out of his car as soon as possible, because he could have been stopped for speeding. He could have been stopped for anything. He wouldn't want to have been caught with the body, obviously, in his car. So, yeah, approximately 2.5 hours away from Madrid. Anna lived in the centre of Madrid, in a salubrious area. As you know, I went there and was on location there. You couldn't get a busier place than that, where the road at the side of her house, it's not even a road, it's a Gran Via. It's a massive road with cars, it's busy day and night. It's just not a place that would ever be quiet. Now, this is a more remote place, we can see that, but there's a road running along the side of it. So he's come off that road, and he's found somewhere to either, I don't think he will have buried her, because that, again, it takes time, doesn't it? I mean, you imagine that. That's a very, it's a very sinister picture, isn't it, of him coming off the road dark with a body in the back, body of his ex-wife in his car, digging a hole to put her in. Or maybe he'd already dug a hole. Maybe he dug that hole on the way there. That's a possibility, isn't it? He could have dug somewhere to bury the suitcase. But they'll have dogs that out there. Probably be a dog that finds her, just like it normally is, like it was a dog that found Samantha Murphy's phone. They'll find it. Honestly, I really do believe that they will find it. It's just a question. I don't believe it's a question of if. I believe it's a question of when, or maybe I'm just trying to be optimistic. But yeah, I mean, did he bury? Did he dig a hole on his way there? Because I can't see. Once he had Annette with him in the car, he will not have wanted to linger.
Rental car agencies are going to have the proper instrumentation to keep track of their cars.
As much as it's hard for the family and, xenophobic Americans to think that it would be better off in Europe to do this investigation, their cell technology is very sophisticated in Europe specifically.
So you can see the autopista there, that he's right where they're searching. There is right next to the road. So they will definitely have information that he's pulled over somewhere along here and spent a length of time here. More than just to have a wee or whatever else you might stop for. So I think he'll have cased this out on the way there. This won't be a wherever he ends up, the body ends up being found. Don't believe it'll be random. I believe that surely on the way there he would have looked and planned where he was going to put her. It's just chilling, isn't it, to think of him going all that way, driving all that way, knowing what he was going to do. you know, planning it all, buying the paint and the tape, and oh, it's absolutely chilling. And it seems like it's all for money. So your wife of 17 years or however long it was, 14 years, you know, just I thought it's so dark, isn't it, to think of? Mate, was it in the middle of the night that he was there sort of disposing of Anna's body? It's like, you know, he surely must have nightmares about this, for God's sake. Surely. You just think, how can people do things like that and then sleep at night? And he slept often. So he might, so she went missing on the Saturday back in February, early February. Now, those messages that he sent to her friends and family, or allegedly, they said that she'd met this new man and he had a holiday home just outside Madrid. So I think he was preparing that story then for, in case she is ever found, he would say, you know, it would look like, oh, well, she said she was going to stay with this guy just outside Madrid. This is where the police are looking for her, you know, a couple of hours away from Madrid. She said, that's right, in the messages, I say she said, he said, on behalf of Anna, that he lived a couple of hours from Madrid, this person who she was going to stay with. So he was sort of staging it already then. So I think he already knew where he was going to put Anna. I think he'd already sorted that out in his head. And yeah, but we'll see. It'll come out.
Particularly in Spain. So maybe they will get a better read than what we would expect here. Now, help me with this one. This is great that the FBI is involved, because my suggestion is, based on the reporting I have, that the motive here was money. They owned properties together, 15, 17, and some other businesses. South Florida, we're talking, you know, double-digit millions worth of property. I have been looking into the amount of leverage on these buildings. Now, you remember that part of the sticking point with the two was, fine, let's get divorced. Let's just split everything 50-50. And he was like, no, no, no. We were told, we're not splitting it 50-50. He has some funky leverage on some of these buildings, Jennifer, which is right up the FBI's alley. Second mortgages on things that they supposedly sold. Millions of dollars pulled out of these buildings in his name alone. And what does that mean to an FBI investigator?
Oh, that looks like to me he was doing a whole bunch of trickery far in advance of this crime. And it just shows me premeditation, that he was looking to get out of this completely and make sure that he had all the money he could possibly acquire.
Now, this is exactly what the FBI does, right? If I'm able to get it, you know, just by pulling records of the deeds, this is what they do, right? And they really should be on the hustle to lock up what kind of money this guy's, what did he pull out? You know, how did he do the transactions? Did he move any money around? Did anybody else help move money? This could get more expansive, couldn't it?
It could. It could get expansive. Right now, he's facing that federal kidnapping charge, which has a lot of teeth, Chris. But also, there could be some economic, some fraud charges in this, depending on what he was doing with that money. And so I think it's going to be interesting to see if we see some follow-up white-collar type crime charges come out of this.
I think I'm going to get more reporting, but I think that's exactly where it's going. And when I get it, I'll pass it by you first. Jennifer Coffin-Dafford, thank you very much.
So, yeah, just thought I'd give you a little update, and it was definitely interesting to see that CCTV, isn't it? The CCTV of him in the hardware shop and spraying out the, well, allegedly of him in the hardware shop and spraying out the CCTV cameras in her apartment block. So I just thought I'd give you an update. Thank you for watching. And I'll be back soon, as always, with the next video, which, who knows, gosh, there's quite a lot of news at the moment. I've got a lot of videos to bring you. I've got the part 2 of the Peter Falding whistleblower information that I've been sent by an ex-employee of his, because covering the Micah Miller case. I'm not saying much about Sebastian Rogers at the moment because it's just gone crazy, that case, and there is no new information. There was a body found in the same river that Riley Strain was found in, but you know, I doubt if it's Sebastian. I certainly hope not. But it's some poor soul. But we'll see when we find out who that is. What else? Oh, and then the UK. Of course, we've got an election coming up in the UK. I mean, can't keep up with that either. We've got Nigel Farage now deciding that he's not going to America after all to help out with the election there. He's going to stand as a candidate in the UK election, because originally he said he wasn't going to. So that's just getting crazier and crazier. So yeah, lots of news to report on just not enough hours in the day. Then in between I have to do some Spanish classes. But still, it's all interesting, isn't it? And thank you for sharing some time with me. I really appreciate it. So remember to live and love wisely and carefully. I'll see you really soon in the next video. And until then, may your God, as always, go with you. Thank you.